I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for critique, head over to my website, lachri.com/critiques. That link is below in the video description, and you can submit your work there. This week's submission comes from artist Francisco. This was his very first drawing of a bird and only his second time working in colored pencils. I love that your second time working in this medium and you're already working on shading. You've started to get the shading in the bird's face. Great work there, and especially the layering in the face. You've done a good job of covering the tooth of the paper. You had said in your submission that your goal was to create a realistic bird drawing, so I've got a few generalized colored pencil tips for you. Colored pencil is an extremely slow medium to work in. I mean, you've got a little pencil with a little teeny tiny tip, and you've got to cover a large surface area with that tiny pencil, compared to painting where you can use your larger brushes. With colored pencil, that's not the case. So you need to understand when you get started, colored pencil, it is slow. You see time-lapse videos here on YouTube where in 5 minutes, 20 minutes, even 30 minutes, some of them that are longer, they're sped up still so fast that it appears you can get something done in a single night. You can get this great project, all this detail, something super realistic done very quickly. You can't. That's just not how the medium works. These videos are sped up very fast. My videos alone, I spend a week on most of my projects. Some of the projects you've seen me do in colored pencil here have taken me 3 weeks. So it's not a fast medium, and I think you want to get that in your head before you get started. It's going to help you to be much more patient and spend the necessary time working in the tiny circles, which we'll come back into, and doing the layers as needed in order to get the look that you're going for. But if you want a realistic drawing, it's not going to happen very quickly. Now, keeping that fact in mind, remember you're going to do a lot of layers too. Lots and lots of layers. Don't look at it as, okay, I know this portion of the bird is red, so I'm going to grab my red pencil and I'm going to shade it in red, and that's going to be it. It's not. If you're going for a realistic, you're going to do a lot of layers, lots of layers. Generally, you're going to want to keep a very light hand. Don't push very hard with your pencil, because if you do, you flatten the tooth of the surface of the paper and it won't take additional layers. So work in a very light hand and lots of layers, and slowly build up until you get the color saturation that you want. And again, with the shading, you're going to be doing shading here too. And when I talk about layers, it's not just, okay, I'm going to do 12 layers of red and then 2 layers of this color. Sometimes you're layering a couple layers of red, a couple layers of a little bit of a green to tone down the red, a few more layers of a different red. You can layer different colors on top of different colors to get different results. So just keep in mind, lots of layers, work slow, don't try to rush it. You can also use something like odorless mineral spirits to help you blend even more, and that will help you to cover the tooth of the paper so you don't get that white grainy look showing through that makes it look more like crayon. You can get a very realistic look either by lots of layers or by using an odorless mineral spirit in between some of those layers, in which case you're still doing a lot of layers. It just helps speed the process along a little bit with the odorless mineral spirits. And I do have videos showing you exactly how to use some of these different blending techniques. I'll have a card pop up here so you can check that out. My next tip, make sure your line drawing is perfect before you start. If you realize, oh wow, the wing is kind of shaped weird, or something else is off, something's not quite right, that you can't easily fix once you get started. Your best bet, take the extra time needed to make sure that drawing is absolutely perfect. Whatever time you need, that's the time you need to put into this. Don't think, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this and then I'm going to start coloring. That's not how it works. Again, going back to colored pencil pieces anyway, they tend to take, I mean, anywhere from, I'd say 10 to 100 hours, depending on the artist and the size of the piece they're working on. But these are not fast projects. So don't rush the drawing portion of it thinking, okay, I'm ready to start coloring right away. The coloring part's going to take you so long that you don't want to have rushed over any bit of this, especially not getting your foundation drawing absolutely perfect. So when you want your work to look more realistic, you've got to have a very accurate drawing. My next tip, keep your pencils sharp. It's really easy to think, well, there's still color coming out, so it's okay. I'm going to be able to get all the coverage I need. I can keep using that pencil. No, what happens when it's not sharp, when it's really dull, the pencil starts catching just the top of the tooth of the paper, and you end up with more of that white grain of the tooth of the paper showing through. If your pencil is really sharp, then that is going to help you to get the tip of the pencil into all those little nooks and crannies. When I say sharp, I don't mean sharp enough just to write with. I mean sharp enough to be a weapon. Think butter knife compared to a steak knife. You want those pencils to be a steak knife. My last tip is when you layer, work in tiny ovals or tiny circles and just kind of slowly overlap one little circle into the next to get very smooth coverage. Again, keeping that very light hand. What's happening right now is I can see where you've gone down, like in the sky, you've gone down one direction and you're going another direction and now another direction. I can see where where you're using these big, huge, scribbly motions when you're filling things in, and that won't get you the realistic look that you're going for. Instead, slow down and work in tiny, tiny circles. This is going to help you to get more even coverage, and it's going to avoid those harsher lines that you just can't work out. And no matter how many layers you were to put on this one at this point, when you have those really harsh lines, chances are they're going to show through. You can hide them to an extent, but your best bet, right from the start, work in small circles, small little ovals, and just slowly build up. You're off to a good start. I love that you've already started shading. Keep up the good work. Hey, have you subscribed yet? If not, I have a handy button right there with an orange arrow that says subscribe on it. You cannot miss it. If you have not already subscribed, click on that. That'll help you to keep up to date with all 5 of my new art videos every single week. If you're already subscribed, don't click that. It'll unsubscribe you. That's not helpful at all.